Broadcasting Network. Because you can handle the truth.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Don't label us left or right. Are American. Not looking for a war, but we came to fight. Are American. Somebody's gotta stand up. Stand up. Somebody's gotta do what's right. We're rising cause we're fed up. Got our house in order and got yours inside. I am American, that's what I am, it's what I say, and what I do. I am American, that's what I am, and I bleed red, white, and blue. And I bleed.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to Resurrect the Republic RTR Truth Media Reloaded. I am your host, Lorri Anderson, of course, joined with Tom Lacovara Stewart tonight. How are you doing, Tom?
Oh, I'm doing good.
We have some exciting coverage tonight, don't we?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. First, I want to tell people out there, I hope it's not too early. I hope you guys are tuned in. We were chatting with a few folks in the resurrecttherepublic.chattango.com chat room. And Lori's going to be handling a good part of the show tonight. I'm going to be popping in and out with some stuff. But I have this and a couple other things going on. What I did, because I couldn't get into the admin privileges on the Chattango, I'm trying to reach out to my very good friend Chris Cave, and hopefully he may be listening by now, but we've been trying to get a hold of him, who has the admin privileges over Resurrect the Republic. I was going to put that one on our website, but because I couldn't do that temporarily, I created a chat and I put it on the resurrecttherepublic.com website. If you go to resurrecttherepublic.com, it's a Chattango chat. If you scroll down on the right-hand side, you'll see the box. You can also click on the link, which will open up the full screen version, if that's what you prefer. But we want to get some engagement going on. So I'm going to be kind of sitting in the back. I got this and a couple other audio things that I'm working on to try and polish up the show now that I'm back. And Lori and I and the Freedomizer or the Freedom Streamer will be coming to join us, and Chris Cave and all these wonderful folks that really just backed me up and made sure that the show stayed alive while I was gone. So I really thank them, and I'd really like to thank my buddy Sal. He knows where he is right now. I'm not in an undisclosed private bunker location. Anyway, I'm just kidding. Sal has been a huge help.
I mean, you're not like those rich billionaire bankers.
No. I don't want it. We're not really going to hide. We're just going to be prepared to handle whatever. So, you know, I'm going to be Tom the gardener, I think. I'm going to try and get my green thumb going and see if I can grow decent tomatoes out in the desert because, you know, I'm Italian and I need tomatoes. And he's already got the basil going on. So we're, you know, a little bit of oregano, a little bit of basil, a little bit of garlic, a little bit of tomatoes makes all Italians happy. I'll keep the Italian in me happy with that. But anyway, folks, really go to resurrecttherepublic.com and scroll down on the right-hand side and get involved in the chat. You can send us any questions throughout the broadcast if you'd like to do that. The name of the chat room, if you're directly in Chattango, is RTR Truth Media Chat.chattango.com. But it's very easy. If you just go to resurrecttherepublic.com, go down to the right-hand side, you can open up the full screen menu, or you can use the box, whichever you prefer. So that's what we got going on here, and I'm gonna try and get to some stuff from the Free Range Report. before we're done tonight. But Lorri, you have a pretty decent presentation lined up for the folks tonight. So I'm going to step back and I'm going to be working on some technical things and get this chat room going. So guys, meet me at resurrecttherepublic.com. Scroll down and enter the chat.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Tom. And I wanted to remind everyone, we were speaking yesterday and I was telling that I was going to cover some issues with Syria. Well, you know, a lot has gone on, and I want to say I am so proud of our listeners. I'm so proud of the people also over in France. I am proud of the American people for not buying into the mainstream media bull about this chemical weapons attack in Syria. So I'm coming to you with information tonight that will not only not be heard on mainstream media, but it will also be covered, and then you can make your decision for yourself. Now, before I go into this really quick, I just want to say this. If you believe that we should have a wall to protect our borders, and if you believe that there is such a thing as a criminal, illegal alien, which by definition is someone who crosses the border and comes onto our land of the United States of America without permission, if you believe those two facts, that you can be considered an illegal alien by crossing over that border onto our land without permission, then rightfully so, challenge your thought pattern, because the people that are American that are over in Syria are over there across that border without permission. So you cannot have it both ways. You either do believe in entering a country with permission or you don't. And if you believe it stands for us here, then it stands for them there. But tonight I'm going to tell you I am so proud, Tom, of the people around the world. They are not buying into the mainstream media lies. And I'm going to tell you, the French President, Emmanuel Macron, he has been catching a firestorm, and so has Theresa May, after the quote-unquote Syrian strikes. Now, I don't know how much you know about this, but he's been out on some interviews, and he was bragging that he was the reason that President Trump decided to stay in Syria. Now, once that was said, of course, Trump denied that, and Macron backtracked. Now, I know this might be a little difficult.
Can you say
Macron?
Macron.
And so Theresa May, of course, everyone knows that she is just as much of a liar on this situation as
I can't stand
the
that
other
wicked
individuals.
woman.
But I'm going to tell you, they had a meeting the other day, and I had so much hope because I was reading the comments. There was only one positive comment, but one person wrote a comment that it was so eye-catching to me I had to write it down. So this is what they said. Quote, this is from somebody out of France, by the way. Quote, police pepper spray is an incapacitating chemical weapon. Do you plan to bomb them? So, on that note...
Good point.
Yeah. So, the French premier said that he also said, quote, I am an equal of Putin, by the way. Putin understands me. And I decided to strike Syria in order to convey to Putin that we are also part of this, unquote. During the interview, Mr. Macron also said that he convinced the U.S. President Donald Trump that it was necessary to maintain a U.S. military presence in Syria, and the coalition strikes should be limited to the, quote, alleged chemical facilities, unquote. Now I'm going to tell you, I heard an amazing man. I've never heard of him before. His name is Jeremy Corbyn. This is in front of the French Parliament and right beside Miss Theresa May, after Miss Theresa May decided to spew the chemical weapons that Assad allegedly struck upon his own people. And we're going to get to that in a minute. But I want you to hear from Jeremy Corbyn, because let me tell you what, this man, he spoke out and challenged Theresa May, Macron, and over the Syria strike, and he did it in front of the French Parliament. Mike, if you would, please play LV3.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to start by thanking the Prime Minister for our phone conversation in advance of the bombing raids on Friday night and for an advance copy of her statement today. I also join her in paying tribute to Sergeant Matt Tunrow, the SAS sniper from Manchester who was killed on the 28th of March with US forces in northern Syria, and Master Sergeant Jonathan Dunbar from Texas, who was killed in the same attack. I welcome the fact that all British military personnel involved have returned home safely from this mission. The attack in Douma was an horrific attack on civilians using chemical weapons, part of a civil war that has killed hundreds of thousands of people. Mr. Speaker, this statement serves as a reminder that the Prime Minister is accountable to this Parliament, not to the whims of the US President. We clearly need a War Powers Act in this country to transform a now broken convention into a legal obligation. Her predecessor came to this House to seek authority for military action in Libya and in Syria in 2015, and the House had a vote over Iraq in 2003. There is no more serious issue than the life and death matters of military action. It is right that Parliament has the power to support or stop the government from taking planned military action. And, Mr. Speaker, the BBC reports that the Prime Minister argued for the bombing to be brought forward to avoid parliamentary scrutiny. Will she today confirm or deny those reports? I believe, Mr. Speaker, the action was legally questionable. And on Saturday,
I just urge members to calm down, because in my experience, some of the members who shout from a sedentary position then also entertain the fanciful idea that they might be called to ask a question. And I wish to disabuse them of that idea. The Prime Minister was heard in an atmosphere of respectful quiet and order, and that will happen for the Leader of the Opposition as well. No ifs, no buts, no sneers, no exceptions. That is the position. Jeremy Corbyn.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I believe that the action was legally questionable, and on Saturday the United Nations Secretary-General Antonio Guterres said as much, reiterating that all countries must act in line with the United Nations Charter, which states action must be in self-defence or be authorised by the United Nations Security Council.
Oops.
The Prime Minister has assured us that the Attorney-General had given clear legal advice approving the action. I hope the Prime Minister will now publish this advice in full today. The summary note references the disputed humanitarian intervention doctrine, but even against this, the government fails its own tests. The overwhelming humanitarian catastrophe due to the civil war in Syria is absolutely indisputable. But the Foreign Secretary said yesterday these strikes would have no bearing on the civil war. And the Prime Minister has reiterated that today by saying this is not what these military strikes were about. And, Mr. Speaker, does, for example, the humanitarian crisis in Yemen entitle other countries to arrogate to themselves the right to bomb Saudi airfields or their positions in Yemen, especially given their use of banned cluster bombs and white phosphorus? Mr. Speaker, 3 United Nations agencies said in January that Yemen was the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. So will the Prime Minister today commit to ending support to the Saudi bombing campaign and arms sales to Saudi Arabia? On the mission itself, what assessment has the government made of the impact of bombing related military facilities where the regime is assessed to store chemical weapons? What impact on the local people of chemicals being released into the local environment? News footage shows both journalists and local people in the rubble without any protective clothing. Why does the Prime Minister believe these missile strikes will deter future chemical attacks. As the Prime Minister will be aware, there were US strikes in 2017 in the wake of the use of chemical weapons in Khan Shaykhun, for which the UN OPCW team held the Assad regime to be responsible. In relation to the airstrikes against Bazai and Himshinsar facilities, the Prime Minister will be aware that the OPCW carried out inspections on both those facilities in 2017 and concluded, I quote, that the inspection team did not observe any activities inconsistent with obligations under the Chemical Weapons Convention. Can the Prime Minister advise the House? Does she believe the OPCW were wrong in that assessment, or does she have separate intelligence that the nature of those activities has changed within the last 5 months? And in the light of the Chilcot inquiry, does she agree with a key recommendation about the importance of strengthening the checks and assessment on intelligence information when it is used to make the case for government policies? Given that neither the UN nor the OPCW has yet investigated the Duma attack, it is clear that diplomatic and non-military means have not been fully exhausted. While much suspicion rightly points to the Assad government, chemical weapons have been used by other groups in the conflict. For example, Jaish al-Islam, which was reported to have used gas in Aleppo in 2016, amongst other groups. It is now vitally important that the OPCW inspectors who arrived in Damascus on Saturday are allowed to do their work and publish their report into their findings and report to the United Nations Security Council. They must be allowed to complete their inspections without hindrance. And I hope the UK will put all diplomatic pressure on Russia and Syria and other influential states to ensure they're able to access the site in Duma. The bigger question must be that during the Syrian conflict, over 400,000 Syrians are estimated to have died in the conflict, and the vast majority by conventional weapons, as the Prime Minister indicated. The UN estimates that 13.5 million Syrians are in need of humanitarian assistance, and there are over 5 million refugees. It's more important than ever that we take concrete steps to halt and finally end the suffering. Acting through the UN, the Prime Minister should now take a diplomatic lead to negotiate a pause in this abhorrent conflict. This means engaging with all parties that are involved in the conflict, including Iran, Israel, Russia, Saudi Arabia, Turkey and the US, to ensure there is an immediate ceasefire. We have, Mr. Speaker, the grotesque spectacle of a wider geopolitical battle being waged by proxy, with the Syrian people used as pawns by all sides. Our first priority must be the safety and security of the Syrian people, which is best served by de-escalating this conflict so that aid can get in. So will the Prime Minister now embark, as I hope she will, on a renewed diplomatic effort to try to bring an end to this conflict, as she indicated in the latter part of her statement? The Prime Minister states that diplomatic processes did not work. This is not exactly true. The initiative negotiated by John Kerry and Sergei Lavrov led to the destruction of 600 tons of chemical weapons overseen by the OPCW. No one, Mr. Speaker, disputes that such diplomatic processes are difficult and imperfect, but that should not stop us from continuing diplomatic efforts. The refugee crisis places a responsibility on all countries. Hundreds of unaccompanied children remain in Europe, and the UK has yet to take even the small numbers it was committed to through the Dubs Amendment. I hope that today the government will now increase its commitment to take additional Syrian refugees. Will the Prime Minister make that commitment
All
today?
right, folks. We'll be back after a few words from our sponsors. Resurrect the Republic, Truth Radio broadcast on RBN.
It dominates the American opinion. Finding independent voices that counter this avalanche is becoming increasingly difficult. With the endless corruption running rampant throughout our government, independent voices are needed more than ever to battle the offensive against our freedoms and liberties. As a listener of RBN, no one understands this concept better than you. Now it's up to you to do your part. The time has come for you to take action and begin broadcasting the truth to hundreds or thousands of people every month. Sound impossible? Quite the contrary. With pointed slogans from LibertyStickers.com, you can reach countless sleeping Americans unaware that they live in a real-life wonderland. LibertyStickers.com has a huge inventory of political bumper stickers and messages that reflect the truth about our government, our politicians, and the future of America. With so many in stock, there's one perfect for you. Visit us today at LibertyStickers.com. Again, that's LibertyStickers.com. Do your part. Your voice is important. Let it be heard.
As a listener of RBN, you're surely concerned about being informed and being ready for whatever may come. Please consider the following questionnaire as a soul-jarring wake-up call. If you answer no to more than 2 of these following questions, you probably aren't going to make it through any major disruption in our country. The questions were compiled by people that have been there. Are you really ready? Do you own your own firearm for the primary defense and protection of you and your loved ones? Have you ever been professionally trained to stand against life-threatening behavior? Have you ever practiced enough to fire 500 rounds during a 2 to 4 day time frame, day and night? Can you load, unload, fire, and clear a jam in total darkness? Have all the adults in your household been professionally trained? Are you, life and death, comfortable with your abilities with pistol, revolver, shotgun, and rifle? Are you aware that everything that you do to prepare for an emergency is a waste of time, money, and energy? If you haven't honed your abilities to their highest level to protect and keep what you have? Do you have the repair parts that will most likely be needed for each of your firearm, and do you have the ability to install those parts? Could you completely clean every firearm you own? Are you aware that your body won't go where your mind hasn't been? In other words, without proper training, followed by regular practice, you probably will not win a gunfight. Well, how did you measure up? Take the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to start correcting your deficiencies by receiving your Commander Lifetime Membership with Front Sight Firearms Training Facility. A one-time donation to RBN for $500 will give you a Commander Lifetime Membership at Front Sight as a tremendously huge thank you bonus. See details on RBN's webpage to make it happen. The clock is ticking. You had better be ready before it happens.
Like a storm growing across the horizon, there's a reckoning coming like Judgment Day. Finally we've been awakened from this nightmare. Voice upon voice, like a crashing wave.
Welcome back to Resurrect the Republic, RTR Truth Media Reloaded. I'm your host, Lorri Anderson, joined with Tom Lacovara Stewart, and we're discussing the Syria situation. Right now we're discussing the heat coming down from France in the French Parliament for Theresa May.
Can you say, hold on, Lorri.
Yes.
Can you say that again?
France.
I love it when you talk French.
France. Okay, so we want to make sure, and I want to make sure that every listener understands this. We have reported for a very long time that CIA, Department of Secretary of State when Clinton was in, we know that they've been arming, training, funding, and supporting the terrorists. We know these terrorists were sent in. We know that Benghazi was part of this. And we honestly do not know how much President Trump knows. This is not an attack upon President Trump. Honestly, maybe he doesn't know this is deep state that he's protecting. So
Lori.
It's our job
Really?
to make sure he knows.
Really?
Just calm down, Tom. So it's our job to make sure that he knows beyond the shadow of a doubt. So we're going to give him information that apparently the intelligence agency refused to give to him. Okay? And the mainstream media, the fake news, refused to give to you. You're going to hear from an individual that was on the ground and has been in and out of Syria since 2016. However, before that, I want to make something clear. The French President Macron, how many of you understand and know that he previously worked for? Are you ready for it? I need a drum roll, Tom. David D. Rothschild. Yes, he worked for David D. Rothschild. He was an investment banker, and of course, he is a socialist. And no surprise there. However, when we dig a little bit further, I want you to be able to hear things that you're not going to hear in probably many other news outlets. If any other news outlets are putting it out there, it'll shock me. I know that Ron Paul does put this kind of information out, and I'm so thankful for the stuff that he puts out. But in the French Parliament, I wanted to let you know that M. Jean-Paul, Lecoq, stated, quote, "The strikes demonstrate the irresponsible behavior of the three global powers that yet again gave into the temptation to play the world's policeman," unquote. So while France is chimed up in that firestorm and Macron's getting exposed, and so is Theresa May, this gentleman who you just heard, Jeremy Corbyn, did it right to Theresa May's face. Guess who's in the United States of America right now visiting President Trump? President Macron. Yes, you heard that right. So even though the White House spokesman Sarah Huckabee Sanders dismissed the claims by Mr. Macron by saying the U.S. policy has not changed, let's remember that approximately 19 days ago, President Trump was talking about pulling out of Syria. Then all of a sudden, chemical weapons attack, the same daggone way that they've been doing it for years to blame President Assad. Let's remember that when President Assad was blamed in 2017, there was also no proof of that, to the point that February of 2018, General Mattis admitted that there was no evidence that Assad used poison gas on his own people. There was an opinion piece on it in Newsweek, printed on February 8, 2018, by Ian Wilkie. Okay? And yet again, amazing. You know, there's a lot of even very far left news sites that have reported on this. Yet, once again, when this Twitter brief came out, there was justification, and they were claiming that he used chemical weapons last year. That has not been proven. So I'm going to lay out some information.
I call BS.
Yeah, you think? So after the chemical attack upon the Syrian people on April the 4th, 2017 in Khan Sheikhan, once again Assad was blamed for the chemical attack with no proof and no evidence, which of course was confirmed by General Mattis, who is now Secretary of Defense.
Yep.
Now, at that time when that happened, if you remember, we were speaking out because Trump once again had bombed Syria over the allegations and no proof that was provided. Yet President Trump, after sending those bombs over there, over that Twitter intelligence, that's what I'm going to call it, because the White Hats, we're going to expose them tonight too. So many of you may or may not know that in August 2013, there was a sarin attack in the eastern Damascus. The Syrian President Bashar al-Assad committed to dismantle its chemical weapons in an agreement with the Organization for Prohibition of Chemical Weapons, which also allowed for them to check the sites to verify the chemical weapons were gone. And that was also...
Okay, we'll be right back after a few words from our sponsors for Resurrect the Republic.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org.
Extendivite is more than just a heart tonic. Most basic diseases are caused by yeast in the gut and metals in the liver, and we all have a bit of both. The garlic in Extendivite has a yeast-killing effect in the gut while also helping the sulfur enzyme in the liver get rid of the metals. Extendivite just may improve your overall health. Products like Extendivite are the only way we are going to get our society healthy. And if you're waiting for the government and pharmaceutical care to solve your health problems, you're going to have a long, disappointing wait, I think. Extendivite is a complete formula for extended life in the new millennium. 80 can be the new 60. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
This is too good to be true, except this time it is real. 100%. No joke. How about a $25,000 membership to Front Sight Firearms Training Facility as a thank you bonus for a one-time donation to RBN of only $500? It is a Commander lifetime membership with no yearly fees or dues. The training is free for the rest of your life with over 50 different classes. Then leave it to your designated beneficiary. You provide the approved firearm, holster, ammo, eye, and ear protection. Many features and bonuses are included, more than you would ever expect or believe. This is the ultimate graduation present, wedding gift, etc., etc. See the details. Go to RBN's webpage and frontsight.com to make it happen. May 5th is the last day you will hear this offer on this radio network. Help keep RBN alive. Tell 5.
Without the right accessories, any guy can be off the mark. Whether you've invested thousands in your arsenal or you own a single trusted firearm, a visit to AROutfitting.com is in order. It's one of the finest online selections of tactical optics and AR parts and add-ons, like EOTech, quick target acquisition with no peripheral loss. Browse the full range of Nikon scopes and binoculars. AROutfitting.com can illuminate your world with Streamlight gun-mounted lights from keychain to large handhelds up to 1,100 lumens. Find some stability with Battenfield tactical bipods. AirOutfitting.com has CMMG gun parts, barrels, assemblies, handguards, part kits, and more. Plus magful clips and magazines. I know I've got you excited, so take a breath. Head to AirOutfitting.com. The site's super easy to navigate and features a ton of technical info, including links to manuals. We also welcome vendor and manufacturer inquiries. Remember, if you don't see it, we can get it at AirOutfitting.com.
Welcome back. Resurrect the Republic, Truth Radio broadcast on RBN. Okay. As I knew, it would cause a little bit of confusion because I had to create a new chat room. For those of you out there that are listening to the show right now, I finally got a hold of Chris, of course, during the broadcast because he tunes in, he listens, and he pays attention to everything. And so we finally reached out to Chris. And to eliminate any confusion out there for anybody, if you go to resurrecttherepublic.com, on the right-hand side of the website, scroll down, and you will find a chat box. Tonight, we are using the one that I created for the test, but it's on the website. Tonight, after the show, I will re-edit the website and put the old room back on. But either way, if you just go to resurrecttherepublic.com, click on that box, and click on the link above, it will take you to where we are regardless, because that's going to be the one that's going to be on the site. So, that being said, the one that is embedded on the site right now is the one that we are using. So, Mayor Bailey and everybody else that's in there right now, Zappia and I can't remember the screen names, but all you guys know, you're listening, so what difference does it make? If you go to resurrecttherepublic.com just for tonight's show, and in the future, what I will do is I will take the old chat room that now I'm back into. I'm going to take that HTML code, shift it over. So if you just go to resurrecttherepublic.com and click on the Chitango chat box on the lower right-hand side of the website, on the scrolling side of the right-hand side, you're going to find us either way, because the code will be re-edited. I hope I've been clear, so that there is no dilemma. Everybody just meet at resurrecttherepublic.com until we get going smoothly. You knew I've been gone for over a year, so it takes a little while to get back into accounts and fix websites and iron out all the bugs and stuff that I'm driving Mike absolutely nuts with. I already know. I burnt this poor guy out. I love you, Mike. You know I do. He's done a great job for us, and God, I wouldn't want to have to put up with me. But anyway, we're back to Lorri Anderson. She's got a presentation for you tonight on Syria. And Macron. Can you do that? Can you do that again?
Macron.
Okay, good. It's all you.
So first I wanted to make a correction. It was pointed out to me that I said white hats a few minutes ago. That is not what I meant to say. The correction is white helmets. White hats are completely different ballgame, and I apologize for that misspeak. And so I am talking about white helmets. These are the same individuals that sent the quote-unquote video proof from Syria or Dama that caused these latest Syria strikes. So I did want to put out there that the White House spokesman, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, did dismiss the claims by Mr. Macron by saying that the U.S. policy has not changed. She explained that we've talked about this for a while, but our policy has not changed. Ms. Sanders added that Mr. Trump still remains defiant on bringing U.S. troops home from the region. She continued, quote, "We still have troops on the ground," unquote. Quote, "but the president wants to bring those people home, and that hasn't shifted," unquote. So I wanted to make that clear that they're disputing that. However, they're still there. It doesn't take a lot to bring them home. We're not there lawfully in the first place. And so I wanted to point out, that's right, we need to start doing some serious protesting over this. OPCW nor the United Nations investigated the 2017 attack. Now, as I said, General Mattis or now Secretary of Defense James Mattis admitted in February that there was no evidence that Assad used poison gas on his people. So I want you to hear some things you're not going to hear in the public forum, just as you probably will never hear what you just heard a few minutes ago. I do want to say that this individual that you are getting ready to listen to, her name is Carla Ortiz. She was on the ground. She goes in depth about what went on, and she was there March the 1st. Okay, so this is a little bit over a month ago. March the 1st, 2018, over 40,000 people were liberated from Douma by President Bashar al-Assad. Okay, and she stated that the refugees that are escaping Assad, unquote, are possible terrorists or terrorist supporters, because the ones that are, quote unquote, escaping Assad are the younger men. You don't see women and children. However, in the over 40,000 people that were liberated from Douma by President Bashar al-Assad on March 1st, 2018, which, by the way, we're going to cover that in what you hear in a minute, the U.S. government called a farce, basically. These people were elderly ladies, children, men, and families, and she's got the goods. If you would, Mike, please play that clip.
Welcome to part 2 of our interview with Carla Ortiz. Carla Ortiz is an actress and film producer who spent a great part of the last 2 years in Syria firsthand, in Aleppo, and she's going back, and she's got a lot of great stories to tell, and she's got her own video that she took inside the White Helmet's headquarters, and she's going to share it to us right now. Here's Carla Ortiz. So now I want to show you a video. Here is you when you went to Aleppo. Now tell people when you went to Aleppo and what we're going to see.
I was in Aleppo in several locations, including the time of the Battle of Aleppo in December 2016. It was my third time, but my first time during the actual conflict zones because I was there before in the rebel-held area, but without when there wasn't the actual battle happening. When I was in December, I testified the actual liberation of Aleppo, that we in the West made such a scandal saying that Aleppo was falling and Aleppo was burning and that we had to respond and that Obama had to bomb Aleppo, that he had to take action. I was right there without Wi-Fi connection, and all these activists that said that they were on the east side of Aleppo, it is not true because there was no internet. And they were saying that they were dying and they were, getting burned. I saw the actual corridors that the Syrian army were forming with their bodies in order for people and civilians to live. I have documented all this. I've done some live videos about it. And as people were leaving, I was dumb enough at the time, with my innocence, I wanted to interview the famous white helmets, the people that were saving them. First of all, in Aleppo, nobody knew them because they were saying, no, who are they? We don't know who they are. When I start showing them pictures, they'll say, oh, they're terrorists. They're terrorists, Daesh. They work with al-Nusra. And they'll say, yes, they are the civil defense, but of the armed groups. And they said, they're together. They work together. So then it's when I met also other journalists that have been doing already investigations about it. And I corroborated this information and I was going, oh my God, why didn't I ask more questions? Because I was, okay, I have to do more information. But I was asking permission to go, but the battle was ongoing and it was not clear yet of also, different weapons. I found also places that being liberated, where I found also weapons that, as the United States provided the groups like al-Nusra, which is the affiliate of Al-Qaeda in Syria. Not only that, but later when I went back 2 more times in March, and then I went back again in June of 2017, I asked specifically to walk all the Sohur neighborhood, where is the main base of the White Helmets, that is where they film the short film, the one, the Oscars in 2016, which I could not believe. I was just on TV saying that it's not true, and then you're seeing all these white helmets when they told me they did not exist. So anyhow, I went to the headquarters, and you
went to the White Helmet headquarters in Syria.
I went to
Aleppo.
This is in Aleppo, in the Sohur neighborhood, in the White Helmets headquarters.
So let's show that.
Hi everybody, I am Carla Ortiz. I am here in the city of Aleppo. We are in the headquarters of the White Helmets. We see here the main logo of the White Helmets. Over here, we see the teaching of how the White Helmets have to kill. And right above...
Now, what was that? The teaching of how the White Helmets have to kill?
Help. So, yeah,
okay.
Basically they put posters of, this is how they help and this is how they recruit people. Because, they put it in the neighborhoods if you want to help and be in the civil defense. If you're in the Syrian army, you get paid $50 a month to fight terrorism. And if you are a regular citizen, you get to do 16 to 18 hours of work and have 2 different works, and you make $50. If you work with the White Helmets or al-Nusra, you get $1,500 a month. So for Syrians, this is a lot. So a lot of people go as volunteers. And a lot of people... and I know this because people are going to ask me, because I interview 9, 8 ex-White Helmets in this trip. I have the interviews. So I'm talking from what they are saying and what they would be paid. A lot of them would basically volunteer thinking they're going to help people. And they would tell me, I didn't know I had to be an actor. I didn't know a lot of things were setups. And then when we would ask questions, we would not get our payment. So you have to also understand that with these posters that they recruit people and they show in this wall, in the same wall, there is the logo of ISIS.
Okay, that's very good. Let's watch some more.
As you can see, it's the logo of ISIS. This is going downstairs. This is going downstairs because obviously this is a school. It's a school. I think it's a middle school that was taken as a headquarters for the White Helmets. So when you go, everything is, a lot of places are completely burned because it's like they left and they burned everything, so they won't left any evidence. But in this one room, there were 2 flags of Al-Nusra. So why, if you're a White Helmet, that you denominate yourself as a non-profit or as volunteers, that you are neutral and you're unarmed, all of a sudden, why would you have Al-Nusra flags in downstairs where you are operating?
Okay, very good point.
The flag of Al-Nusra. And here is another flag. And here we have a jacket of the White Helmets. A lot of the neighbors over here have said...
So this is the White Helmets headquarters, and there's Al-Nusra, Al-Qaeda flags everywhere.
Exactly. ISIS. Now, I'm going to ask this, because they put this in my Twitter and they asked me the question, but wouldn't this be before? Okay, fine, but if I am a firefighter, okay, if I am volunteer for something, and me being Syrian, I've been in Syria for 2 years, and if I am Syrian, and I've seen what ISIS and Al-Qaeda have done to my people, they rape my woman, they kill my children, they kill and beheaded my brothers. Would I be okay to keep a logo of my volunteer place where I'm saving people? Will I be okay looking at this logo that have brought only blood and killing and death to my country? Even worse, in this time, Al-Nusra was the most powerful armed group in Syria, especially in Aleppo. They control basically all the other 47 armed groups. So why would I be okay having flags of them? And why would I burn this place that has all the flags as well? You know, it just doesn't make any sense. This is no conspiracy theory. I was right there. I saw it. And the reason why I lift also the flag and I don't touch it is because you see that the flag was right there before. And right here is exactly, as I was walking the neighborhood, this is exactly what the civilians were telling me. They were saying that, yes, they are the Syrian civil defense, but of the militants, of armed groups only.
The White Helmets.
The White Helmets do save people, okay? They do save people, but they save the militants. They would not treat regular civilians. They treat only the armed groups.
The terrorists. The terrorists. So
yes.
Al-Nusra, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, that's who they're treating. That's who White Helmets are taking care of.
Exactly.
Not the citizens.
There's where our money is going.
Yeah.
Because our press, in our briefings in the press, we have said since the government of Obama and also in Britain, they have agreed and they have basically admitted that we have donated millions. I think up to now it's close to almost like $200 million just to the White Helmets alone.
Really?
So our taxes are being used for them to treat terrorists.
Wow. Okay, so I'll show a little bit more of this.
That they were not taking care of civilians, but only militants that carry weapons and fighters. Take your own conclusions. Al-Qaeda headquarters here, and just like not even 2 meters away, it is the White Helmets headquarters.
So you're saying that the White Helmets headquarters was just a few meters away from Al-Qaeda's headquarters?
Yes. So the next door school, it's a school, I think that one was for already like high school.
Right.
That was taken by Al-Nusra. So this is the headquarters of Al-Nusra. So if I am a firefighter and I'm a civil defense, why would I be okay? And how can I commune okay with the strongest and most evil force of terrorism in Aleppo? So it was right in front. It's only separated by a wall. One patio from the other patio. This is crazy. When I was there, I could not believe my eyes. You know, how is it that we fell for this?
Okay, because you have a very well-controlled media. That's how we fall for it, because we're inundated with propaganda and no one's telling the truth. And the people who do tell the truth, they try to discredit, smear, just like they're doing to Robert Fisk now. And they try to intimidate you like they're trying to intimidate you, right? So that's how people fall for it. Let's watch a little more.
this school over here that it says ISIS, Islamic State, for Iraq, for Al-Sham, Palestine, Syria, Jordan. You see, everything is walking distance. These are the moderate rebels we in the West have been sponsoring. So we're arming Al-Nusra. We're arming Al-Nusra because for a long time they rebranded themselves from Al-Qaeda and they called themselves Al-Nusra. So they were moderate at the beginning, and we were arming them and we were aiming them because they were okay. So we are selling weapons to them, and then we're sending aid to the white helmets, and they're one door to the next one. Mm-hmm. And we have no idea where our taxes are going.
Okay.
Cool. This is the dress code of a woman, where it says you cannot use anything transparent, you have to be fully covered, that you cannot show off, you cannot wear perfume. This is the entrance. You see that is a red crescent. It's like the Red Cross. So this was the original.
We'll be back after a few words
crescent.
From our sponsors. Resurrect the Republic, Truth Radio broadcast on RBN. Is that Jimmy Dore? I think that's Jimmy Dore.
Homeowners, if your lender has gone out of business or sold your transaction to another lender or servicer, you may be the victim of a wrongful foreclosure resulting in the loss of your home. If you've already lost your home, are in foreclosure, or even in good standing, you can challenge the mortgage transaction's illegal issue and your property can be restored to you, and your foreclosure can be stopped or reversed and the mortgage transaction declared unenforceable. State laws, U.S. title codes, the Uniform Commercial Codes, and U.S. Supreme Court rulings have upheld that defective mortgage documentations can reverse or stop foreclosures and enforce property title claims in favor of the homeowner. We are having successes in stopping the process of foreclosure, the enforcement of the foreclosure judgments, the sale of property, and evictions after the sale. We are not attorneys, and we don't give legal advice. We are a professional team of legal researchers, providing forensic mortgage audits and expert witnesses. We have the knowledge to produce the evidence and enforce laws regarding your legal issues. We've been in business for 12 years without a complaint. Consultations are free, and we provide a free title search to confirm if your mortgage has legal defects. Please call 855-253-3748. 855, keep it today.
Do you worry a lot? If you're forgetful, nervous, moody, or overwhelmed, chances are you're not protecting yourself from the ravaging effects of stress and anxiety. No matter the cause, ongoing stress and elevated levels of the stress hormone cortisol can rob your memory, your health, your quality of life, and your future. Now you can combat the effects of stress and anxiety while improving your memory and recall at the same time with the dietary supplement Calm and Clever. Studies show that the ingredients in Calm and Clever reduce cortisol by as much as 30% in as little as 1 to 2 weeks and increase your ability to recall facts, names, and numbers in 4 to 12 weeks. Calm and Clever was created by scientist Kurt Hendricks, a principal investigator in 2 NIH-funded studies on Alzheimer's disease. Try Calm and Clever for 2 months. You'll feel the difference. Call 1-800-758-8746 or go to calmandclever.com.
Many people write us about their experience with Extendivite. Allow me to read you a few from Amazon.com. By Mel. Great product. My husband and father-in-law use it regularly. Both my husband and father-in-law have had significant change in their blood pressure and overall health. By Amazon customer. It works for me. Returned to buy the tincture and the capsules as they were on sale during February. Unlike some other products, this one worked for blood pressure and occasional irregular heartbeat. Extendivite produced noticeable results after just 2 bottles, a 4-month supply. I take Extendivite 3 times a day, every day. I think the supplement has helped with my increased fitness regime and to lower my blood pressure. Tell us your story. Get Extendivite today. Call 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Welcome back, Resurrect the Republic, Truth Radio broadcast on RBN. All right. So we made this a little bit complicated with the site. I didn't think it was going to cause that much of a miscommunication. But those of you that are listening that use the Chitango chat, I'm finally back into the old account. Like I said, I'm in the background here. I'm working on the website. I'm working on a lot of different things. This is just one of the things that I'm working on. What we have going on here is, if after the show tonight, I'm going to change the HTML code. We're going to be back to resurrecttherepublic.chattango.com after tonight. But here's the safe bet. Go to resurrecttherepublic.com, and on the right-hand side of the website, the chat will be right there, okay? And there will be a link right above. So while we are using whatever we're using, and rather than being confused, if you just go to resurrecttherepublic.com and click on, scroll down on the right-hand side, you'll see the chat box. There will be a link right there. When I switch over the HTML code, it's still going to be on resurrecttherepublic.com, so nobody will get messed up. Sorry about that, but I couldn't get a hold of Chris in time to test this, so I had to create a new chat room. I didn't mean to cause any confusion. But okay, back to you, Lori.
All right, so we're covering the interview, an amazing interview with Carla Ortiz, and she was on the Jimmy Dore show to give
Jimmy Dore.
Jimmy Dore's show. And this was the same wavelength 2018 interview. So he did an amazing job. Want to give a shout out to him. Also, remember that there will be links below the show for you to be able to access his show information, as well as everything that we source tonight will be under the show. So I wanted to go ahead.
But before you roll the Jimmy Dore clip, this is kind of how funny our thought process is so close to one another, because I was that was part of the content that I was going to roll tonight. I'm going to be rolling tomorrow is the attack on Jimmy Dore, who is he is an admitted progressive. He's on the left. However, he, like us, are against this war, and I don't agree with Jimmy on a lot of things. But he's got this whole war thing down. And when we have these critical thinkers and we see that they're attacked, Jimmy Dore has been attacked by CNN. And
then he's doing something right.
Oh, yeah. But they made it. I mean, it's a hatchet job. They're really coming down on him hard. So I just wanted to point out to people that whether you're on the left or the right, when you speak out against the globalist agenda, they don't discriminate against whose they bring the axe down upon. And it gets really, it actually gets pretty intricate and has to do with YouTube and CNN battling over advertising and all kinds of mess. We're going to cover it tomorrow night, but that's how close. I mean, that's what I had prepared for a clip for tonight, but go ahead.
And you know
Lori,
what, Tom? It also shows one thing. We're not left or right. We're for truth.
Right.
We're
for
truth only. And we've always said that. I don't care even if, good Lord, help us, New York Times actually prints something that's accurate, we will cover it. But it has to be accurate.
From time to time.
It has. I'll have to give them that. They did an accurate reporting of the medication issue. So
all right. Well, we're out of time. We'll be right back in our second hour. Resurrect the Republic Truth Radio broadcast, RTR Truth Media Reloaded with Tom Lacovara Stewart, Lori Anderson on the Republic Broadcasting Network. We'll be right back.
Keep listening so you can hear eyewitness testimony about what's going on in Syria.
This is too good to be true, except this time it is real. 100%. No joke. How about a $25,000 membership to Front Sight Firearms Training Facility as a thank you bonus for a one-time donation to RBN of only $500? It is a Commander lifetime membership with no yearly fees or dues. The training is free for the rest of your life with over 50 different classes. Then leave it to your designated beneficiary. You provide the approved firearm, holster, ammo, eye, and ear protection. Many features and bonuses are included, more than you would ever expect or believe. This is the ultimate graduation present, wedding gift, etc., etc. See the details. Go to RBN's webpage and frontsite.com to make it happen. May 5th is the last day you will hear this offer on this radio network. Help keep RBN alive. Tell 5.
You're listening to Republic Broadcasting Network, because you can handle the truth.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I've come to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its scenes while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, neath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, when my eyes were stabbed by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound.
Shall we remain silent? Or shall we speak out for the hundreds of thousands that have been slaughtered in this CIA proxy war? Shall we stand while they rob us of our money to pay terrorists? Civil Defense Force equaling the White Helmets, equaling al-Nusra and Al-Qaeda. That is not who we are. That is not what we stand upon. You want to talk about the deep state that is against President Donald Trump? This is the deep state. These are those factions that would destroy humanity all around the globe and prey upon each and every individual, hoping that you would buy into the propaganda and the lies. We refuse to remain silent as people all around the globe are attacked by these evil, corrupt, criminal individuals. President Trump, we implore you, get our men out of Syria. Stop involving ourselves in a war we do not belong in. And stop aiding, abetting terrorists. Whether you realize you're doing it or not, we're sending out that message that, in the hope that you hear it, because that is exactly what is going on. Welcome back, everyone, to Resurrect the Republic, RTR Truth Media Reloaded. I am your host, Lorri Anderson, with Thomas Lacovara Stewart, and we are covering Syria, the unlawful bombing of it, without even proof. I want to continue playing an amazing interview that was held by the Jimmy Dore Show with Carla Ortiz. She goes into great detail, and I would suggest please go to that link, because you can see the video footage. She provides the proof about what she is talking about. She's not the only reporter that has exposed this, and I am so thankful for each and every one of them. But we must take a stand. We must turn and burn those phones up in Congress, as well as the White House, demanding that they get out of Syria. If you stand for a wall, or you stand in the idea that someone who crosses our border is here illegally. If they're here without permission, then you cannot, without being a hypocrite, say that we are not doing the same over in Syria. We've not been invited. We have not gotten permission. Thus, we are the illegal aliens over there. We're attacking their people and supporting people who murder their women and men and children, and we've been exposing this for years. This is not a Trump issue. This has been going on for many years. This is a humanitarian issue. And if you want to try to claim, oh, well, we had the right to go in because chemical weapons, those scary chemical weapons that killed allegedly 46 people and harmed others that were allegedly sick. Let's talk about numbers. More people died at that in Waco. And we've covered that already. We cannot stand by and allow ourselves to be hypocrites. And just because we expose the truth doesn't mean we're anti-anything or pro-anything. The thing that we are pro is we are pro-truth. And if we have to stand in that gap, then that's what we shall do. Because we have to do what is right. And when the Lord said, when you've done all to stand, just stand. Mike, if you would continue playing that clip for our audience.
The original Red Crescent. We're going to do a little briefing. I show you the headquarters of the White Helmets. I show you the headquarters of Al-Nusra. This is over here. You can see here what it says. The most important part over here, so you don't have to go through the end, is that this building, the Red Crescent, which is the equivalent to the Red Cross in the Middle East, because the crescent represents the Islam,
Okay.
Was protected by NATO, by the United Nations. They are saying that this is a place where it was a no-fly zone. It was demanded that anything that we will do against this one building that is exactly in front of the Al-Nusra headquarters, walking distance, and you see flags of Al-Nusra, stickers that Al-Nusra used over there. I mean, how is it that you, being the United States and having the intelligence that we have, did not know that the Red Crescent was taken also and that Al-Nusra had access to this place? So how is it that the Red Crescent, and again, I'm not saying that the Red Crescent works with Al-Nusra or with any terrorist group. I'm saying that these 3 buildings were taken. And we are saying that one was attacked. Russia is bombing schools and hospitals. Who were in the schools? Who were in the hospitals? And this is the thing that residents in Aleppo were saying. They're saying, our children have been deprived of school for 4 years because the terrorists came. They closed and shut down all the schools. Our children cannot go anymore to study. And guess what? There's where the terrorists are. Besides this, there is the other, the Big Eye headquarter hospital of 16 buildings. It's in the center of Aleppo. These 16 buildings is the largest hospital in all of the Middle East, eye hospital in the whole Middle East. This was the main battle point for ISIS and Al-Nusra because they had fought to keep this. It's in the center of Aleppo. That was the base of Al-Nusra.
The hospital.
The hospital. So, and the people, and also I'm probably going to upload this video in the next couple days where actually this one guy who was an ex-Al-Nusra fighter tells me that they used to put people on cages, civilians on cages, and put them on the roof of the hospital so that when the Syrian army or Russian planes would cross by, they would not bomb the place and they would not kill the civilians. So
I've seen videos of people being carted around in back of trucks and cages. And that's what you're talking about?
Exactly, because the terrorists walk with the civilians in cages if you are a minority, especially if you are a Christian or you are an Alawite. Why? Because first of all, these terrorists are not even Syrians. And this is the first misunderstanding that most people do not know. These terrorists are mercenaries from all other countries but Syrians. So the first victims over here of terrorism are the Syrians themselves.
Correct. So now you have some videos of when they were opening human corridors.
Yes.
So do you want to talk about what we're going to see?
Yeah, sure. I was when I was in Aleppo, actually, and because the media, I was in so many of the mainstream media, important interviews. They asked me where were my proof that I was right there during the liberation or the corridors. A lot of this footage is my own. I was right there, and I said I'll show you the humanitarian corridors. And when the whole Ghouta problem started happening, I started getting calls again from all mainstream media for me to talk about it and what I thought about Ghouta. And I was saying, I think in Ghouta is happening the same as in Aleppo. I'm not in Ghouta, but this is what happened in Aleppo.
So this is what happened in Aleppo. They opened up human corridors so human beings could leave without getting killed. Here we go.
Humanitarian corridors were opened. Civilians exiting through safe passages.
We are going to Jebel Bedroom because it's the place where they are liberating people and they're letting them pass and free from the east side of Aleppo to the west side of Aleppo.
This is Ghouta today.
These are the cages.
This was Ghouta before the war.
Can you stop for a second? Jimmy, how is it that we don't want that for Syria?
I know. I don't understand.
Look at that.
So
why do we want to see Syria in rubbles,
And so people think that the people who lived in this city decided to bomb themselves. That's what people in America think, that they were so upset at Assad, they started bombing everybody. That's not what happened. What happened was the CIA went and paid all these terrorists to try to overthrow Assad, and they started a war. The CIA did that. And that's how this war started. It wasn't because... am I wrong about that?
No, absolutely not. And by the way, because everybody's been asking me about, Syrians and everything, that if we would know that they look like us, if we would know that they are white people, well, guess what? Syrians are actually very white. You've seen the child. Mm-hmm. They are blonde, most of them. And that's what a lot of the neighboring countries hate as well. You've seen, if you're a minority, which means that you are an Alawite or you're a Christian, you get on the cage. They put your Christian children in a bag, a trash bag, and they put "do not touch Christian" here. I've seen it with my eyes.
And we're funding those people.
We are sponsoring them. And if Assad will leave also Syria, I don't care about Assad.
Right.
But this is exactly what's happening. If he leaves, we are going to testify the biggest genocide of Christians in the Middle East.
Yes, people don't realize that was what will happen. So just like what would happen in Libya, now there's open slave trading markets, and they've killed thousands and thousands of people. Well, let's watch a little more. Can we watch a little more of this?
Yes, of course.
So this is Douma before.
So what happened to Aleppo after its liberation?
Give me 1 second there. After the Battle of Aleppo, and Aleppo is burning and Aleppo is falling, nobody has ever, in the mainstream media, covered again what happened to Aleppo afterwards. So let me tell you what happened in Aleppo. Close to 800,000 people returned to Aleppo from all neighboring countries and from inside of Syria. Christians were able to finally put a Christmas tree after 4 years and go to church. And this is what happened. People were on the streets raising the flag, women taking their hijabs off that were forced to be covered. And here are some of the footage.
How many? 800,000 refugees have returned to Aleppo?
Yes.
That's amazing.
And 75 schools were built since December 2016 until November 2017. I don't know right now how much is it. So I wonder if we have opened like 5 in the United States.
Right. And so what you're saying is that this is not being reported in the United States.
No,
we talked all about Aleppo until after it got liberated, and now nobody talks about it.
We talked about Aleppo as long as our proxy terrorists were occupying Aleppo. As soon as they were defeated, we were not interested in knowing what is happening in Aleppo.
Okay, let's watch a little more.
Aleppo was not falling, was being liberated. Maybe in Ghouta is happening the same.
You know, I made this video like 2 weeks before we saw the exact same corridors in Ghouta. Nobody reported these corridors. We even called a joke. Our government called the humanitarian corridors that were proposed by Russia a joke.
So let me explain. So in order to get innocent people, women and children out of parts of Aleppo, out of parts of Syria, to get them to safer spaces that weren't in conflict, that they wouldn't be killed. And you're saying that the Western governments mocked that idea of having corridors where people could leave. That's what you're saying?
Exactly, because what the United Nations decided was a no-fly zone. And every single time that we were asking, every single time that the Syrian government is winning a war or a battle, whether it's Deir ez-Zor, whether it was in Palmyra, whether it was in Daraya, whether it was in Homs, our United Nations have declared a no-fly zone so they cannot win and be victorious on the war. Now, it's not a conspiracy theory. Just follow the story of what happened. The moment that we impose, and you know how does a no-fly zone happens? By a video reported by the white helmets of a gas attack, a chemical attack that has happened in the place every single time that the Syrian army is winning the war.
Yes.
But we don't question ourselves these things.
Right.
So this is not about Assad. This is about the people. So that you the people understands, and we can put them in perspective with what happened in Douma. The government was not interested in doing anything with Douma. They were basically trying to liberate the other sides because, Syria's been winning the war for a year now. They destroyed ISIS in September. They defeated and basically threw them completely out of Syria in September 2017. So what happened is that from Douma, that is 4 kilometers away from Damascus, the center, they've been receiving shellings for the past, the past 7 years, all the time. So as they were advancing, they started getting shellings much more often. And, close to 1,500 children have died in in Damascus from the shellings of Douma. And so what happened was that on those last weeks in February, they got shellings up to 30 to 100, and a huge missile fell in one of the main buildings. So the Syrian government decided to say, you know what, we need to finish with Ghouta and liberate them, because if we don't free and we don't liberate it from terrorists, then we won't be able to advance because they keep on going into the capital. So they start throwing the same that happened in Aleppo, because I was there. They throw flyers around saying, we're going to be coming in the next days. Please release the civilians. Let them come out. We are opening these safe corridors. These are the corridors that we're going to be open. Do not shoot at the civilians. And then we can have the battle among you and the Syrian army. And this is for the terrorist groups. So what happened? Our press started going crazy. And in February, we're hearing, in March, we're listening that that Assad and Russia are bombing crazy to Douma, and that Douma is falling again, that we need to do something for the children, because he decided to enter Douma. So a few days later, of course, when the Syrian army was able to take half of Douma and cut it and split it in two, they said, we're going to open now the corridors. And there's when the United Nations said, that's it. No fly zone. And what they say, I don't know this, but what they say, the people that were there, the journalist friends that I have in Syria, they told me that they used these 2 days in order to exit some of the jihadists from Douma before, they will take the whole place. Not only that, after they were able to take close to 150,000, I don't know if you want to show the other video.
Yeah.
Maybe
this one here?
Yes.
Let me show it.
Called for these joke-like humanitarian corridors. Russia needs to just do what
So that's the U.S. State Department calling those corridors that actually help people call them jokes?
Yes.
She's calling them a joke. Okay.
United Nations had agreed to and voted on, and that is a countrywide ceasefire.
This is March 1st. 40,000.
All right, everyone. On that note, we'll be right back after a couple of words from our sponsors. Hang with us so you can hear this very power-packed interview. More is to come.
Hey, sit down, don't be a jerk.
Homeowners, are you in foreclosure, expecting to be served with a foreclosure lawsuit, or suspect your lender has coerced you into an illegal mortgage transaction? A huge number of mortgages made in the last 10 years have legal issues and are possibly defective. State laws and the U.S. Supreme Court have upheld that defective mortgage documents are grounds for foreclosure defense and for counterclaims in favor of the homeowner. If your mortgage has been sold or assigned since closing the loan, it may be defective and you may be paying the wrong party, and the lender may not have standing or the right to foreclose or collect payments under the law. If you would like to know if your mortgage is legal or not, or know if you are paying the right party, we can help. Our initial consultations are free of charge. We are not attorneys. We are legal researchers and work closely with experienced lawyers who know how to help you find the evidence to help you keep your home. Call toll-free 1-855-2-KEEP-IT. That's 1-855-2-KEEP-IT today.
Folks, we're living in a world the likes of which we've never perceived any clearer than we do now. The plan for global governance has been in the works for generations and would have likely been achieved by now but for the fact that the globalists left open their Achilles heel. With all their tools, Federal Reserve System, fiat currency, no child left behind, and then Common Core education introduced to our schools to dumb us down, vaccines, pharmaceuticals to lobotomize us, GMO foods, insertion of compromised or bought and paid for politicians, judges, mainstream media propaganda, all pieced together like a puzzle designed to ultimately bring the world under submission. But with all their strategy, they forgot one thing: knowledge. And knowledge is power. With knowledge, their bombardment is nullified. Folks, with that, as brilliant and knowledgeable as you've become, among the wisest audience of any radio audience in the world, and you are, I want you to take a moment to reflect and ask yourself, how much of that knowledge did I obtain from Republic Broadcasting Network? How high has my consciousness been raised since I've been a listener? How fast am I now able to discriminate truth from fake news by being a Republic Broadcasting listener? How clear am I now able to see the world since I've been listening to RBN? Ask yourselves those questions, folks. Then ask yourself, what is that knowledge worth to me? Like my morning coffee, how would I survive without it? A voice of truth in a sea of lies. Do we not all need to make sure it survives? Like public broadcasting, we are now finding we can only survive with listener support. Censorship, advertisers being attacked, truth itself being attacked. It's the only way through this. We at Republic Broadcasting humbly ask you to become a supporter. Look at your budget and make a determination of what Republic Broadcasting is worth to you and what you can afford on a monthly basis. Go to republicbroadcasting.org and pledge $20, $30, $40, $50, if possible, $100 a month or more if it's affordable. Click the donate button and become a regular monthly donor. Assure both us and yourself that Republic Broadcasting truth will continue to flow like that morning coffee. The network thanks you.
Like a storm growing across the horizon.
Welcome back.
There's a reckoning coming like judgment day.
Resurrect the Republic Truth Radio broadcast. Tom Lacovara Stewart here with Lorri Anderson. Was chatting with Chris Cave in the background here. I'm trying to get him linked up as well. We're still working on some technical stuff with the website. Any of you who want to message us, you can either go to the resurrecttherepublic.com. On the right-hand side of the site, there's a chat box. You can chat on there. We'll be loading the new chat or the old chat box that we've used for a long time onto the site tonight after the show. So you can still go to the same place, resurrecttherepublic.com, and you'll find the Chatango chat box if you scroll down on the right-hand side. If you have trouble opening it, you might want to update your Adobe Flash. Also, you can communicate with us through email at rtrtruthmedia@gmail.com. We have this open and up on the screen. You got to bear with me because I'm trying to add a couple screens and some audio programs. So we're working out a lot of bugs. We need your patience and we need your support. While you're at resurrecttherepublic.com, if you click on that PayPal button and you want to show us some love and some appreciation for the news and the truth that we bring you, that would be greatly appreciated because we have monthly bills with all of the podcasting stuff and equipment that we need very badly. Now, if you go to resurrecttherepublic.com, it's not loaded with a bunch of ads. It's not going to slow your computer down with opening up pop-up windows. You're not going to get any of that. So just go over there and drop us a little bit of love on the PayPal button. I'm going to turn it over to Lorri with Jimmy Dore, who has been attacked by CNN now because CNN are working for the CFR globalist war pushers right along with this whole PNAC agenda. Did you think it was only on the right? No, they're war hawks, the globalists. So anyway, go ahead, Lorri, take it away.
Absolutely. So we're going to continue with the interview by the Jimmy Dore Show. It was on April 21st, 2018 with Carla Ortiz. Mike, please finish playing that audio.
40,000.
So now this woman was saying that her children are still there. How come her children are still there?
Because it was very hard to exit.
So this is Duma.
Yeah, this is Duma, and when they're on March 1st, so when they are crossing the border, basically it's very difficult and very few people can make it. They had to run, they had to crawl, So she's saying that my children are still there, and she kind of doesn't want to be in camera because if the terrorists would see that you're in camera and they still have your children because they know you, they've been there for a long time, they will kill your children. So that's what she's saying. And she's saying, they took my house without my, and she's crying. But we won't report this, and every time that we show, all these refugees are escaping al-Assad. Let's look at the footage. Don't believe us right now. Don't believe Jimmy. Don't believe myself. Go and Google the refugees that were crossing and escaping Assad. They're almost, basically 80% of them are men in their early 20s to 30s, alone, without wives, without children, that they are looking for refugee in Europe. What about these people? Look at them. They're women. They're parents with their children. They're not lying. They have no interest. They're basically finally crossing to a place where they're going to be able to eat, and you can listen to their testimonies.
Who took that video?
A lot of these videos are taken by some of my friends that are just Syrians that I got to know, that usually just take footage for me. Some of them are from actual journalists that I got to see them in the front lines because I was actually in the front lines as well. And some are from the Syrian TV, and others are just foreign, Lebanon, etc.
Let's watch a little bit more. So this guy's saying it's awful. They starved us. They killed us with the lack of food. I swear they killed us. May God break them like they broke us. They destroyed us. They destroyed the country. They starved us. They killed our children. Now, he's talking about the CIA-backed moderate rebels.
And on that note, we'll be right back after a couple of words from our sponsors. Hang with us.
This is the most transparent administration in history.
You are tuned in to the Republic Broadcasting Network. Visit our website by going to republicbroadcasting.org. So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Do you or a loved one suffer migraine headaches? Listen to what scientist Kurt Hendricks has to say.
If you are one of the millions of people who get migraines, you need to know about MiGrelief. Hi, I'm Kurt Hendricks, the scientist who created MiGrelief, the patented dietary supplement that addresses nutritional deficiencies in adults and children with migraines. Thousands of physicians and pharmacists recommend MiGrelief.
Call 800-MIG-7354 or visit MIG911.com.
Extendivite, a 7-herb combination of garlic, cayenne, hawthorn, bilberry, ginkgo biloba, valerian, and milk thistle. Extendivite is designed to strengthen the heart and arteries and help the body heal itself. Doctors are not able to explain the improvements they are seeing in their patients' health who are taking Extendivite. People who once needed more pills are now taking less and getting better. Due to the unexplainable improvements in their patients' health, more doctors are calling to order Extendivite for themselves. Help Extendivite make your doctor a believer. Extendivite is available in capsule or liquid form for just $69.95 for a 2-month supply. To get started, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822 or visit heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Tired of being lied to by mass media? It's growing more and more apparent today that news is received less and less through standard media outlets. Even with a growing audience every day, RBN is beginning to direct more efforts into social media. Social media and the use of the internet is fast becoming the primary source of people for news, regardless of demographic. RBN has set out to provide some of the best news on the internet through republicbroadcasting.org, and also has begun to use the tools to our advantage by way of social media. Republic Broadcasting is now operating a Facebook page to function as yet another avenue to have our collective voice reach new audiences across not only America, but across the globe as well. The Facebook page features not only news, but also an RBN player to listen to our broadcast. Get involved by visiting facebook.com/Republic Broadcasting and liking our page and share it with your friends and family, because you can handle the truth.
A revolution needs a war, and this war needs a revolutionary prize for your eyes. The Constitution speaks of speech that's free. Open your mouth from sea to shining sea. The will be real. Americans, please stand up. No more hiding your face.
Are you going to take a stand for what is right over politics? Over party? We are. We refuse to keep silence when humanity is in the balance and people are being tortured with our money. Under lies, we shall not have it. We stand for what our founding was all about, and the founders warned us about foreign entanglements and what it could cause. Now we're going right back to the rest of the Carla Ortiz interview. Please play that, Mike.
Al-Nusra, Al-Qaeda, ISIS, That's who he's talking about. The people who are from outside the country, who came into the country as terrorists to overthrow Assad at the behest of Saudi Arabia and the CIA. They are using us as protective shields. No one can even think about it. If anyone dared say anything, they would take him and kill him. Meanwhile, we are helpless. If they give us food, we eat. If they don't, we starve. We would beg them to feed us. Okay, I swear my son was 20 days old when he died because of the lack of medicine.
These pictures were taken by my friend. And when people question, why is that Syrians love the Syrian armies, because look at them. They're one of them. They're just their people. They're their children.
There were militants from al-Nusra, which is Al-Qaeda there. They kill anyone who spoke against them. They took them and killed them. This war must end. Syria deserves peace. Yes. So it's... do you have any hope for Syria? What do you think? I mean, right now it looks like Assad is winning and people are be able to take back their country a little bit. And right away they do this gas attack. So then the United States starts bombing the crap out of them. So what do you think is so when this is just unbelievable? And when we tell the truth about it, you've been there, you've seen it. They're going to call you a conspiracy theorist if you say this is true.
Well, the thing is that I dare anybody to call me a conspiracy theorist and come along with proofs and fight, the footage I have. And I can back any single thing that I'm saying because I have real footage, number one. Number two, I arrived in Syria for the first time in February 2016. The government of Syria had control only over 35% of the country. The rest of the country was taken by jihadists or armed groups. And Syrians back then told me, don't worry, we will defeat these terrorists and we'll be okay. And I remember I could not believe the amount of positivism. And they have this saying, we're going to raise like the phoenix. We are going to rebuild this country again because we've done this for 7,000 years. With these stones that they destroy, we're going to rebuild our homes. And at one point, I would always say, like, how can you be so positive? How can you see yourself? I said, because there's no space. There is no space for extremism in Syria. This is one of the reasons why Syria was always hated by some of the neighboring countries, because what people don't know is that Syria is a secular state. Secular state in Syria. And women are protected by constitution. They cannot be forced to be covered nor by religion nor by society. Minorities are protected also much more than any other Syrian. Not only that, but the vice president, and I bet nobody knows this, the vice president of Syria is a woman. The advisor to the president is a woman. The president of the parliament in Syria is a woman. The first judge in all of the Middle East as a woman was Syrian. And 30% of the ministries in Syria are led by women. By law, most of the principals of high school are led also by women. Why? Because Syrians understand that half of the country has to be led by women. That's why you can see me when I'm reporting what I'm saying. I am with a T-shirt, whether it is tight clothes or not tight clothes, I am free to be however I can be. You see the reports of these two famous reporters. I don't want to smear them. I don't want to say anything bad, that they are defending the freedom of these amazing, supposedly Syrians from CNN. She was on the ground, completely covered. Black, you could only see her eyes. The
CNN reporter was covered up in Syria, and you're saying you were there and you weren't like that.
No.
So why was she doing that?
Because I was in the area where it was already liberated from the terrorists.
Okay.
But she was in the area protected by the terrorists, and Sharia, asking the world for the freedom of these terrorists, which the freedom of these terrorists means the imposition of fundamentalism and the Sharia law, where women won't have the right for education or the right to be covered or uncovered. The most important thing is that people don't know that Assad made up this law in 2006 when he discovered that some girls that were in the borders of the extremist countries were being forced by the parents to stay at home. He made this law that every single Syrian woman shall finish high school by law, otherwise she and the father will go to prison. So this was the best way to protect the women. And this caused a revolution in Saudi Arabia, where women were asking for the same rights. They were asking, why can't we all get an education? Oh, no, haram, haram. Haram is like, it's a curse. How can you say that? Because the value of two virtuous women, which means like two virgin women, equal to a normal man. So do we want this for Syrians when already in the Middle East, it is a hard and complicated position for a woman? Where are all the women in the world? Where are all the liberals in the world? Where are all the gay and lesbian around the world standing for the right of Syrians? Syrians also, they won't judge you or take you to prison if you are gay. Of course, because of the society, it's difficult, but the Constitution also protects them. Where are we for not protecting these advancements that this nation has got? I mean, now, are they going to call me an Assadist apologist? No, guess what? I don't care about Assad. I stand by the people. And what the people of Syria right now want, whether we like it or not, it is Assad to stay in power because they would choose him over any other terrorist. Because they don't want this fundamentalism, and they want to live in a country that coexists together in peace the way they've done for all these years. Who are we to impose the democracy that we think is perfect, that is not even working for us? And who are we to demand a change of regime because it's going to be okay for our personal interest of the Western policy? And finally, we don't have to agree. We don't have to like al-Assad. We need to respect the people of Syria, and we need to let them take the decision they want to take. In the last election, in 2013, which was an open election and overseen by us, Assad won with 78%. That does hurt us, or 82%, I think, sorry. It probably hurt us. It hurts our interests, the pipelines, the whole Cold War that we still have with Russia. It maybe does. But we've seen it. Is it right or wrong? Only the Syrians have the right to decide this.
And so what people don't understand is if we get Assad, something's going to replace him. We don't have a replacement for Assad, just like we don't have a replacement in Libya. And now Libya is a failed state. And it's a haven for terrorists, and there's open slave markets now. So that's what the CIA in the United States is going to do to Syria. And the people of Syria are saying, no, we don't want that. Assad is actually our leader, and we'll decide who our leader is. And the CIA in the United States, Israel, and Saudi Arabia have they have a different idea of who's supposed to run Syria. And that's exactly what's going on. And that's what they don't want us to say. And they don't want you to, I can't believe that you go there. You go to Syria, and you're not afraid. You got to be afraid, right?
Jimmy, they're amazing. Oh, you have no idea. I'm going to be there very soon, and I'm going to be sharing my live videos. And, my page on Facebook and on Twitter is full of live videos and live stream without cut for people to understand how Syrians are. And I'm sorry I didn't answer your question where you said if I have faith or what I think on Syria. Well, the result was that 35% of the country was under, a government control. Today, 85% of the country is under government control. Within a year, things have turned around, of course, with the help of Russia. But the most important thing is the resilience of the people. They're not giving up. And the most important thing is the women of Syria. They are the ones that have taught their children, men and women, to stand for the land of Syria, which, by the way, this is another thing that the world doesn't know. They refer to Syria, to their motherland, as a mother. And they refer to her as a living, breathing being. And they say, I won't let my mother be crucified. And that's the reason why you have such a large amount of girls volunteering to defend that terrorism that later will come after us. Because we can't keep on thinking that we can keep on, sponsoring these terrorists and these wars are going to only stay over there. So I have faith, and I think in very few years, we're going to look back and say, oh my goodness, I can't believe we allow this to happen. But I think that we can be that generation. We can become that generation that turn things around if we wake up. If we all talk at the same time. When was the moment that we thought that it's just the government, the one that has the power for everything? We, the people, have the power. And this is not a movement of revolution. This is a movement of waking up to our human side, to waking up to what matters, to waking up to this life that we're holding on to, and what world are we going to leave to our children? Because those children that we are killing can be the assassins of our children. Do we want to keep on sending our children from the United States to fight a war that doesn't convene us?
So we just create more terrorists is what you're saying. Well, Carla Ortiz, I really appreciate your work. You know, you have more courage than me. I've never been to Syria. I would never even entertain going there. And the fact that you do that blows my mind. And I really appreciate you doing that so we can have firsthand knowledge of what's going on. And for doing that. And I don't know where you get your courage from, but it's amazing.
From the Syrians, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
I swear, one thing that I believe is important that you asked me when I arrived here, and I think because the Syria issue is like so big, why wouldn't I think that Assad made this chemical attack? Because he was winning the war with conventional weapons. And the only thing that would put the whole international community against him was to use chemical weapons in an area that was completely liberated and only had jihadists. And they still had very few, citizens under his power. So I think we need to start asking ourselves questions. I'm not afraid. You are welcome to come on the trip with me. I promise you will fall in love with Syria if it's not in this time, in any other time. But I will be sharing my live videos. And if we don't know who we're killing, we will keep on killing. But if we get to investigate a little bit who are the people that we're killing, we will never allow any more death.
That's okay. Well, that's a great way to end the segment. Thank you, Carla Ortiz. Thank you for your work. Thank you for watching. Please make sure you subscribe. It only takes a second. Make sure.
That's Jimmy.
That was
Jimmy
amazing,
Dore.
wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
It was an amazing interview. And Tom, of course, we don't have enough time tonight, so we do have caller. But I wanted to say that we'll definitely get to playing to where President Assad, you can actually hear what President Assad has to say. We have Bill, and I'd like to pull the caller on. And we'll cover Assad's interview a different night because I believe the people of America need to hear that as well.
It is a long interview. It's why we haven't gotten a chance to get to it yet. But Bill in Wisconsin, go ahead. You're on.
Can you hear me?
We can.
We can, yes.
Okay, very good. Well, it's providential that I turned on the show tonight to listen. This was tremendous. I really appreciate this, Lorri and Tom. This is great. I took down a number of notes, and the reason why I am a county supervisor, I will be attending a quarterly meeting tomorrow with a number of other representatives from other counties. There will be representatives from the congressman's office, from the U.S. Senator's office. I have been beating on the drum at those meetings prior to this about the drugs, the opium coming out of Afghanistan. I'll do that as well. But I will bring out this interview, and I will talk about it, and I will also reference, the fact that the deep state is controlling both parties. And, we've got to wake up to this fact, and, I think we'll get some listening by the other representatives. The other thing that I'd like to mention is, I watch the mainstream news and Macron visiting the White House, the Rothschild banker representative with a wife 25 years older, his mommy. But what upset me the most was to see our president giving him a little peck on the cheek and vice versa. At the dinner tonight, honoring him, okay? And wasting our tax dollars to support this globalist sellout of France, okay, will be Henry Kissinger, Tim Cook from Apple, and other luminaries. Now, we hear a lot about how Trump is going to drain the swamp. Come on, people.
Right.
You know, how much more do you need when you invite, you know, the international creatures from the swamp to be wined and dined in the White House? Where is Viktor Orban? When is he going to come? And
they took it over. They took it over in 1913, of course, through a long series of usurpations. They took it over in 1913. Really, it's the bankers that are behind all of this stuff. And if you trace it up the roots, you find, of course, the Rothschilds. And if you go a little further, you find the Vatican. It's all the way up the upper echelons of what I call the one world government aristocracy.
Well, you're absolutely right. And I've been in this. I go all the way back to Goldwater in '64, and you know, and you become informed as you go along. So you know, we're in a big heap of trouble, to say the least. But all I can say is God bless you for this show tonight. This Jimmy Dore, God bless him, and especially Carla Ortiz. Yeah. It was
God bless you. Yeah. And I want to thank you for calling in. And Bill, hopefully you'll stay in contact with us. And I want to remind you, there will be links below the show in the archive. There will be links for you to be able to access the original content, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, and maybe, hopefully, we can have you back on sometime.
It'll be on the RBN, RBN Archives.
Okay. RBN Archives, Resurrect the Republic, RTR, Truth Media Reloaded.
Okay, will do. And
would you be willing to come back on the show with us and let us know what happened at the meeting?
Yeah, I'll be glad to do that.
Oh,
yeah, I think we have your phone number now. You can also email me at rtrtruthmedia@gmail.com.
Believe it or not, I'm not technically up to date. To
okay,
say the least.
The phone number will work.
Shows on my cordless phone.
Well,
the phone number will work.
Yeah,
the phone number
works. You can call me anytime. You know, if I don't answer, leave a message. I'll get back to you.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much for waiting, and thank you for your call. And I am so thrilled to hear, Tom, that we've been a blessing to someone tonight, speaking truth into the space, and through the airwaves, speaking truth to power. You know, we've done that as much as we possibly can, and it's up to the individuals who hear it as what they're going to do with it. And I think that's an amazing thing that Bill's going to do. I think that's great.
Yes, absolutely.
So even though we're near towards the end of the show, I do have, of course, an interview with President Assad. It is too large of a
we're going to get to that tomorrow.
To play tonight.
Yeah, we're going to get to it tomorrow.
Right. So what are you planning on covering tomorrow night, Tom?
Oh, good Lord. Just spill over from this. The Assad interview, hopefully. I think that I would like to break that up a little bit, and I would like to get some listeners out there to give comments. So what we'll probably do is we'll probably take the Assad interview and break it up into pieces, and then take a few callers and get some comments out there. You know, this is a really important thing now that we have people like Jimmy Dore and other people standing up against this insanity. You know, I have to, give a shout out to him. He is under intense attack from CNN. CNN is they're trying now to struggle with all of the people they're losing to YouTube, to truth tellers. I don't agree with Jimmy Dore on a lot of things, but on war, I absolutely agree with him on it. And It's something that has to stop. This central banker concocted IMF, Federal Reserve insanity. War is a racket. I thought about it. Just the missiles that they fired have to be replaced, right? You know how much they cost a piece?
I don't remember, Tom.
Let's go down that financial rabbit hole.
Right.
And see how that's like. Look, how many missiles were shot off? They're like at least $1 million a piece. So it's like 70, 80,
and
100.
If they want to talk about chemical poisoning, what about the people in Flint, Michigan, Tom, that are drinking poisoned water? Okay,
yeah,
there's a whole
yeah.
thousands of people that have been poisoned by the water right here in the United States of America, and they want to talk about chemical weaponry.
Yeah, I know. And more reports are coming out on fluoride and its effects on you, and how they're putting that in the water everywhere. There's some news from Jimmy from Boston. There was an actress that came forward. She recorded an interview with her doctor, who basically diagnosed her, and he said this literally, with chemtrail lung. She recorded that, and she posted Richie from Boston, his channel. You got to check that out, folks, if you haven't checked that out yet. But she's an actress. She's got a TV show. It's like I think it's about animals or something. But she's on TV. She's an actress. She went and recorded this with the doctor, and she also talked to him about vaccines. And he was pretty honest. I don't think he thought anything of it. She's just a pretty girl that was in there with the phone. I don't think he quite realized the reach and ability that this young lady had. But it's going viral. I ask everybody to go and take that one video of her and download it, because YouTube, how anyone out there who watches, go to our articles and stuff, knows that our YouTube channel was terminated in the Great Purge of 2018. And they have refused to give me any credible reason. There is no content on there. I mean, I was gone for over a year, and they terminated me for videos that were allegedly done before I ever disappeared. But they didn't like the new content I was putting out, but they couldn't go after it. We were covering Kids for Cash and the Promise Grant program under the Obama era. Then we did an interview with Clive and Bundy, and that was the trifecta, and boom, we were gone. They're little snowflakes inside of the Google complex came across our channel and said, "Oh no, we can't have this."
Hey, you know what? It just lets us know we're doing something right.
That's okay. We're on Steam It now. At RTR Truth Media on Steam It. We're on DTube, RTR Truth Media on DTube. We're on BitChute, BITCHUTE, RTR Truth Media. We really need you guys to go to these channels, subscribe, and start sharing our content. It's going to take us a little while to start really putting the content out there like we'd like to, because here's another thing. Everything's been so linked with YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. It's like, even the Spreaker podcast. When we do a Spreaker podcast, if I didn't have a backup channel on YouTube, we wouldn't be having a place to just archive that on YouTube either. But I switched it over before they terminated me. And now, I mean, there was only 400 subscribers on there from like 3 years ago or something. They're probably inactive. But if you go to RTR Truth Media Reloaded on YouTube, you can find us. But there's not a lot of activity. They have us so throttled down because the stuff that we tell you, folks, you won't hear this on the mainstream media. There are folks like Jimmy Dore and Sean Stone and a lot of other guys. And, of course, the people on this network that'll tell you the truth. But I tell you, if you don't get out there and start spreading and sharing this information, we're sunk. ResurrectTheRepublic.com. Go and click on that PayPal. Leave us some love tonight for our work. Tom Lacovara Stewart, Lorri Anderson. Take it away, Lorri. What do you say?
And as always, everyone, watch your backs, check your facts, Semper Fidelis, and have a wonderful night.
Hoorah!
I'm not interested in photo ops.